Hola amigos, bienvenidos de nuevo al canal. Me alegra muchísimo tenerlos por aquí. Hoy vamos a aprender inglés usando una técnica especial llamada shadowing. Tal vez te estés preguntando, ¿qué es shadowing? Bueno, te lo explico. El shadowing consiste en escuchar a alguien hablar en inglés e intentar repetir lo que dice, exactamente con el mismo tono, ritmo y pronunciación. Es una excelente manera de mejorar tu pronunciación, entonación e incluso tu comprensión auditiva. Básicamente, es como si fueras una sombra que repite cada palabra al instante. Así es como puedes usar este video para practicar. Primero, escucha mientras leo una historia. Todas las palabras van a aparecer en pantalla para que puedas seguir el texto. Después, intenta repetir conmigo, imitando mi tono y ritmo lo mejor que puedas. Y no te preocupes si no te sale perfecto al principio. La práctica hace al maestro. Antes de empezar, quiero contarte por qué elegí esta historia. La escuché hace poco y me pareció perfecta para compartir con ustedes. Es interesante, útil, y está escrita en un inglés claro y sencillo. Eso te va a permitir concentrarte en entender bien las palabras y practicar tu forma de hablar. Esto es lo que vamos a hacer. Primero leeré la historia de forma lenta y clara, y tú podrás seguir el texto en la pantalla. Luego tendrás la oportunidad de repetir cada frase conmigo. Es una manera genial de practicar tus habilidades de escucha, pronunciación y lectura, todo al mismo tiempo. ¿Listo para escuchar la historia? Vamos allá. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts a human can perform. It's not always easy and often feels like a sacrifice, especially when the wound is deep. But Jesus taught us to forgive not just once, but 70 times 7. In Luke 6:37, he says clearly, "Forgive, and you will be forgiven." This is not a mere suggestion. It's a spiritual principle. When we hold on to bitterness, it festers in our hearts, poisoning our peace. But when we release that hurt to God, we open our hearts to healing. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what the other person did was right. It doesn't erase the pain. It means choosing to let go of the burden of anger and trusting God with justice. It is a step of faith and of freedom. When we forgive, we reflect the heart of Christ. He forgave those who crucified him, even while they mocked him. If he could forgive from the cross, surely we can learn to forgive in our own trials. When someone hurts us, our natural reaction is to build walls, to protect ourselves, or to strike back. But God calls us to a higher standard. He calls us to love, even our enemies. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's strength. It takes courage to look at the pain and choose not to be defined by it. It's easy to hate. Anyone can hold a grudge. But forgiveness requires inner maturity. It's a conscious decision to stop drinking the poison of resentment and to start healing. Think of a time when someone deeply hurt you. Now imagine carrying that weight every day. Forgiveness is putting that weight down. It's not for them, it's for you. It's your soul that heals when you forgive. Jesus didn't say, "Forgive if they deserve it." He said, "Forgive," because none of us truly deserve forgiveness, but God gives it freely to us, and He invites us to do the same. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is the one closest to us, a parent, a friend, a spouse. The deeper the love, the deeper the wound. And yet, these are the places where forgiveness is most needed. broken. Families, fractured friendships, silent marriages, they often stem from wounds never healed. Jesus knew that forgiveness would be difficult, but he also knew it would be transformative. In Matthew 6:14-15, he says, "If you forgive others their sins, your Father will also forgive you." Our forgiveness of others is tied to our own experience of grace. When we understand how much we've been forgiven, we begin to see others through eyes of mercy. Forgiveness is the bridge that allows relationships to be restored. It doesn't guarantee reconciliation, but it opens the door to it. Sometimes the other person doesn't even apologize, but we forgive anyway, not for their sake, but for ours and for God's. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's remembering without hate. It's being able to recall what happened without reliving the pain. Time alone does not heal wounds. Only forgiveness can do that. Some people wait years, even decades, to forgive. They carry the pain like a badge of honor, proof that they were wronged. But holding on to pain does not empower us. It enslaves us. It robs us of joy and peace. Imagine your heart as a garden. Every act of unforgiveness is like a weed that chokes the flowers. But when you forgive, you pull those weeds out and make space for peace and love to grow. That doesn't mean we let people continue to hurt us. Forgiveness and boundaries go hand in hand. We can forgive and still protect ourselves. We can love from a distance if needed. Forgiveness is not about making ourselves vulnerable to abuse. It's about setting our own hearts free. There is a powerful story in the Bible of Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers. They betrayed him out of jealousy and left him for dead. Yet, years later, when Joseph had the power to punish them, he chose to forgive. "You meant it for evil," he told them, "but God meant it for good." Joseph didn't pretend it didn't happen. He didn't ignore the pain, but he saw a bigger picture. He trusted that God was at work, even through his suffering. That's the kind of forgiveness God invites us to. Not blind, not naive, but rooted in faith. When you forgive, you say, "I trust God with this. I believe He will bring justice. I don't have to carry this anymore." Joseph's forgiveness restored his family and changed generations. Our forgiveness can do the same. It breaks the cycle of hurt and offers hope. Jesus told a parable about a man who was forgiven a huge debt by a king. But then that same man refused to forgive someone who owed him a small amount. The king was furious and threw him into prison. The message is clear. How can we accept God's forgiveness, yet refuse to forgive others? It's hypocritical. God has forgiven us far more than anyone could ever owe us. Every lie, every sin, every selfish act, God wiped it clean through the cross. So when we forgive, we're not doing a favor. We're simply passing on what we've received. Forgiveness is a gift that multiplies. When we give it, we experience it more deeply ourselves, and we inspire others to do the same. It's like a ripple in a pond. One act of forgiveness can change many lives. Don't wait until the other person deserves it. Forgive as God forgave you, in love, freely, completely. Forgiveness doesn't erase justice. It invites God to handle it. Sometimes we feel that if we forgive, we let the other person get away with what they did. But forgiveness is not about ignoring wrongs. It's about shifting the responsibility to the righteous judge. God sees, God knows, and God will deal with every act of injustice in His perfect timing. When we take vengeance into our own hands, we act out of pride and pain. But when we forgive, we surrender our pain into God's hands. He promises, "Vengeance is mine. I will repay." Romans 12:19. That promise gives us the freedom to release our grip on the past. It doesn't mean we stop feeling. It means we stop holding on. Forgiveness is not about pretending we are okay. It's about choosing not to live forever defined by the wound. It's choosing healing over bitterness, mercy over revenge, peace over war. There may be times when you forgive someone, but the relationship doesn't go back to what it was. And that's okay. Forgiveness is about your heart, not their behavior. Reconciliation requires two people. Forgiveness requires one. You can forgive someone who never says sorry. You can forgive someone who's passed away. You can forgive someone who doesn't even know they hurt you. Because forgiveness isn't something you wait to give. It's something you choose to live. It's a decision that must be made over and over again. Sometimes you'll forgive and then feel the pain again. That doesn't mean you failed. It means healing is still happening. Forgiveness is a process, and every time you choose it, your heart becomes lighter. One day you'll realize you've been walking free, and the chains that once bound you have fallen off without you even noticing. That is the miracle of forgiveness. Think of Jesus on the cross, bloody, bruised, mocked, and dying. And yet he looked at those who had nailed him there and prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. That prayer is more than an example. It's a lifeline. It reminds us that forgiveness is possible even in the worst circumstances. Jesus forgave the unforgivable, and in doing so, he opened the door to grace for all of us. When we struggle to forgive, we can go to him. He understands. He knows what betrayal feels like. He knows what rejection feels like. He knows what deep pain feels like. And he also knows the power of forgiveness. He will give us the strength to do what seems impossible. When we pray, "Lord, help me forgive," we are never praying alone. Jesus is right there, praying with us, leading us into freedom. One of the greatest acts of love is to forgive someone who doesn't deserve it. That's what Jesus did for us. Romans 5:8 says, "While we were still sinners, Christ died for us." He didn't wait for us to get it right. He forgave us first. And now he asks us to love as he loved, to forgive as he forgave. That kind of love changes the world. It melts hearts. It heals wounds. It rebuilds bridges. You never know how powerful your forgiveness can be. It might bring peace to someone tormented by guilt. It might open the door to reconciliation, or it might simply allow your heart to rest. Either way, it's worth it. The world teaches us to get even, to cut off, to cancel. But Jesus teaches us to forgive, to bless those who curse us, to love those who hate us. That's not weakness. That's divine strength. Forgiveness leads to freedom. Emotional, mental, and spiritual freedom. Bitterness is like a prison. It locks us in a cycle of pain. Every time we remember what happened, we relive the hurt. But forgiveness breaks that cycle. It says, I will not let this define me. It's not easy, and it may not happen overnight. But each step you take toward forgiveness is a step toward peace. Start by praying for the person, not because they deserve it, but because your heart needs healing. Ask God to help you see them as He sees them. It might feel unnatural at first, but over time, your heart will change. You'll stop replaying the pain and start embracing peace. You'll stop asking, why did this happen? And start asking, what can God do through this? That shift in perspective is the beginning of a new life. A life not shaped by wounds, but by grace. At the end of your life, what will you carry with you? Your titles, achievements, or wealth won't matter. What will remain are the relationships you nurtured and the love you gave. Forgiveness is the seed of lasting relationships. It says, I value you more than the pain. We all make mistakes. We all hurt others, and we all need grace. When we forgive, we give what we hope to receive. It's the golden rule in action. Imagine a world where everyone chose to forgive. What kind of peace would fill our homes, our cities, our nations? It starts with one person. It starts with you. Let today be the day you stop carrying that bitterness. Let it be the day you say, Lord, I release this to you. He will carry what you can't, and He will heal what you thought was too broken to restore. In forgiveness, we find not weakness, but the heartbeat of heaven.